Hello, my name is Sally McNally. I'm an Irish midwife and I'm going to teach a prenatal yoga class, and our focus today is on labour. We're going to pretend we're in labour and we're going to go through early labour, active labour, transition, and then we'll have a little chat at the end about pushing. So as we're holding our yoga poses, we're going to pretend that that's a contraction. So welcome to our lovely, beautiful women. I'm sure as you're looking at us, it's like looking at a beautiful garden about to bloom. So we're going to start by turning our palms upwards and softly closing the eyes. And relax your face, your brain, your neck, your shoulders, and just feel yourself arriving here on the mat. Notice all the sensations in your body. Notice the sound of your breath. And as you listen to the sound of the breath, remember that your little baby in there is listening to that sound. So breathe into your baby. Follow a breath, taking a long, slow, deep breath. Let that breath flow through your lungs and down into your baby. Feel as though you were breathing into your baby's little hands and your baby's little feet. Breathe into your baby's eyes, their ears. Feel as though you could see your baby's face. See your baby relax, knowing that mommy is about to do her yoga. Our babies love when we do our yoga. So taking that last long, deep breath. And as you exhale, relax both yourself and your beautiful baby. And slowly now and gently, we'll open our eyes and look down at your hands. And imagine that your baby's already been born and they're laying there in your hands. Can you imagine how they're going to feel, what they're going to look like, who they're going to look like? And then just release that. And then we'll take our palms together like that, squeezing the fingers, and turn your palms upwards. Press up into the sky. Press back down into the earth. So as we move through our class, and when you hold a nice pose like this, imagine that it's a contraction. In the early part of our class today, we'll be focusing on early labour. Early labour, your contractions are short, maybe 30 seconds. It's kind of like a niggly, kind of period type pain. And then it's gone. We'll release the hands, reach out, come all the way down and just touch the ground each side. So we're going to do that again, and this time we're going to clasp our hands, taking a different finger first. And this helps us to wake up that brain, pressing back up into the lovely sky and pressing down into Mother Earth. Feel as though you are trying to connect both the sky and the earth. And here you are, right in the middle, right here in this moment, in this breath. Contraction fading away. Contraction gone. We'll release our hands and make your arms 2 inches longer, all the way down, all the way out. We'll take that right hand over to the left side, left hand behind. Inhale, reach. And exhale, twist. Slowly taking those long, deep breaths. Just feel the body, any resistance anywhere along the way. Be very kind, be very gentle when you find that resistance. We'll release, come to center now. Take your left hand over and your right hand behind. Inhale, lift, and exhale, twist. And as you move into your pose, imagine if this was you in labour, how would it feel? That special day has come, your contractions have started, the excitement will build. It's time to meet that beautiful child. We're going to release now, that contraction is gone. So we learn to welcome the contractions. Instead of fighting our way into them, we accept it, like that beautiful, mysterious female energy that's going to open us and bring us our baby. So now we get to release our legs. We'll straighten our legs one at a time, and then press your legs down into the floor. Really feel that nice releasing. As you release your legs, you'll notice the sensation changing. And that's just what the uterus does as it comes out of the contraction. It relaxes, just like your legs are doing now. It doesn't happen like that in a second. It takes a few seconds for everything to come back to normal. So let's place our hands down there beside our hips, lift the armpit chest, stretch out into the balls of the feet, and feel all the muscles in the body squeezing and grabbing onto the bones. The muscles are working, the muscles are contracting. Now, if that was your uterus, how would you be with that? Could you say yes to that? Yes. And then you feel it fading away, allow it to go, relax. Notice all the muscles that were working as you relax and come out of that. We're going to take our knees now, take the inside of the knees, keeping the hips nice and relaxed as you pull your feet back and come onto your fingertips behind and just maybe rock back and forth a wee bit. And then press the legs down. We're going to take our hands around in front. You can hold the front of your ankles. You can hold the front of your toes, or you can slip your hands in underneath there, cupping the hands. Now, if when you're like this, your back starts to round, you're safer to just keep your hands on the floor and stay tall. We're going to make space here for baby. As we hold this pose, feel how open your hips are. So this is a really good, nice way to be. Good practice for that labour, for pushing especially. I want to be able to open the legs up. So dropping the knees, lifting the heart, and just now go down and experience your pelvic floor. Just like the muscles, if I was squeezing my hands and making the muscles in my arm contract, see if you can make the muscles in your pelvic floor contract. Just the same way. Squeeze now everything that you feel is your pelvic floor. Squeeze it, lift it upwards a little bit and press the knees down. So notice now the control you have there. Lifting the pelvic floor, all the while long, slow, deep breaths. Relaxing into your groin. So one part of the body's working. Find maybe 2 or 3 other parts that you could relax. This contraction is fading away. Relax now, that very slowly, let it go. Good. And we're going to take the back of the knees and we'll take the knees together. And we're just going to place our feet there on the floor. Sit up nice and tall. Great. And we'll start by taking our right hand in underneath and reach over and take that left foot to your right hip. And right foot, take that over to the left. Good. So the last pose we had the hips wide open. Now we're squeezing them. So feel the outer hips squeezing in. Put your fingers on the floor and get nice and tall. Here comes the contraction. We welcome it, reaching up. Look up into your cervix there, girls. Oh, look at your 2 to 3 centimetres, 50% thinned out. Baby's coming down. Good, membranes are intact and there's a little bit of bloody show. We're going to take that left arm down and turn your left arm all the way around and then scoop that hand up behind your back. Now walk your fingers up close to the neck. We'll reach up into that left arm, internally rotate it and then drop it down. See if you can catch your hands there behind your back. So I'm just going to come around there and have a look and see if anybody needs a belt. I'll put it between your hands. You girls are very flexible. So that's lovely. You all have your hands behind your back and you're holding the hands. But if you at home now couldn't reach your hands, you could hold a belt between your hands and walk your fingers down and pull the belt between your hands. So now as you hold that, notice all the thoughts that are coming into your mind. Your mind might be saying, I don't want to do that anymore. Can you please say, let it go, Sally? So we need to accept that the mind will be part of our labour as well. The mind can sometimes be the biggest obstacle because the body has no choice. Once it's time to have the baby's going to come out. The contractions are going to come. But the mind might come up as an obstacle and say, I don't like it, I don't want it. So we have to train that mind. This contraction's fading away, girls. We can release our hands behind and we're going to reach up into that right arm and reach back into the left arm. Look up over that right hand as though you were looking into the uterus right now. Can you see your little baby's eyelashes? Look into their eyes. Send them a lovely big hug. So now you're going to place your left arm on top. Give yourself a nice big hug there, as though you were reaching in and hug the baby. Hug your baby really tight. Say, I'm waiting for you. I love you. And we lock our arms together and wrap the arms around, palms together, nice and tight and squeezy. Squeezy. If you can think of the contraction instead of pain, think of it as squeezing. The muscles are trying to squeeze the baby down through your pelvis. And then just holding that, maybe dropping the hands down a little bit. Can you all find your left thumb and block off that left nostril? Maybe place 2 fingers then on your forehead. We're going to inhale through the right and block that right nostril and then exhale through the left. You close your eyes here and just go back and forth. Inhale through the right and exhale through the left. This is just alternate nostril breathing, and you can just do it just without counting, just allowing yourself to experience a little different feeling with the breath. In through the right and exhale back through the left. This contraction, girls, it's fading away. You're going to start to slowly and gently release the arms. Let the arms slide off each other and feel the tension leaving the shoulders, leaving the arms. Let it dribble out through the fingertips. Let it go. And we'll take our hands behind our hips and lift your legs up off the ground. Good. And see if you can straighten your legs and your arms. Yes, to the contraction. And then bend and place your feet. Great. So we're back where we started. And we have to do all of that on the other side. So find your right hand now. And we'll start by taking the right leg over to the left. And the left over to the right. So line up the center of the body with the knees in front, with the center of the mat. And then fingertips on the floor, growing nice and tall. There's no wasted contractions. Each contraction is working on that cervix, softening it, thinning it, opening it, bringing the baby down. Let's check in with the cervix. Look up. Big deep breath. Look at the baby's a wee bit lower. The membranes are getting a little bit tense. There's more of that bloody show. The contractions are coming closer. They're getting now very close. They're every 5 minutes apart. Now they're lasting about 50 seconds. Let's take that right arm down. Turn the whole arm around internally. Scoop it up behind you. See if this side is the same, that you're able to reach up now with the left arm and drop it down, catching fingers behind the back. And then holding that, gaze at one spot. So a nice way to train the mind is to use the eyes, because the mind is very busy. It likes to talk about what it's looking at. I'm just going to get you a belt. So you might notice one side is a little tighter than the other. Great. So as you're gazing at something, in labour we call this focusing or focal point, to pick something beautiful that you're going to bring to labour. A picture, a statue, a flower. Something that when you gaze at it, it makes you feel strong, makes you feel happy. So right now, imagine that you're gazing at whatever it is you're planning to bring in to labour to use as a focal point. Maybe it's a picture of your own mother. Great. Picture of your Jack Russell. Whatever it is that when you look at it, it brings good feeling. Good. So we change what's going on in the mind. Instead of just pain, 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 we're like, oh, something good. This contraction's nearly over. Good news. We're going to release and we're going to stretch that left arm up into the sky, stretch back into the right arm. And as you look up over your left hand, imagine that you're looking at your baby all grown up. They're 20, heading off to college. You've got to love them at every stage of their life. Let's wrap them up in a big hug. Now the other arm on top. So a good way to remember this is check which knee you have on top, and that'll be the opposite arm on top. And then lock the elbows, wrap the arms around, squeezing tight. So squeeze the legs together, squeeze the arms together, and pretend that's the uterus working, working, working. Then we'll just drop the hands down. Can we find our right thumb? We're going to block off the right thumb. Maybe 2 fingers on the forehead. And then we're inhaling through the left. Block the left with your ring finger and exhale through the right. So just notice that now. As you breathe, listen to the sound. Notice how this calms you down. So sometimes when we're going into labour, we feel very anxious. It's natural that maternal instinct will pop up and you might start thinking, oh, what if something goes wrong? But what if everything goes right? So sometimes we do something like a little alternate nostril breathing just to bring the peace back into the mind. You don't have to come into the yoga pose to do that. You could just sit silently, just go back and forth, taking those few breaths, and then before you know it, the contraction, the anxiety fades away. So releasing the arms, let the arms slide off each other. Be willing to go into relaxation just as you are willing to go into contraction. We'll take the hands behind us. We'll lift the legs off the floor. You can keep your knees bent. You could keep your feet on the ground. Or you could just see what it feels like just to straighten the legs, straighten the arms just for a breath. And then bend, place your hands. And now we're back in this lovely little Dandasana pose. So Dandasana, we kind of check in. How's your back? How's everything? It's like a little connector. And then relax. We're going to cross our ankles and we're going to move into more of an active labour now. So coming onto the hands and knees. So we're going to just drop the belly down and open the elbows and inhale, look up. I want you to pause there and notice that now you're in a little bit of a back bend. Back bends are not a good thing really when you're pregnant, because your uterus can stretch, it's really strong, but the placenta doesn't really stretch. So you don't want to do anything that's like a big back bend that stretches everything around the uterus. This is a nice little safe one. The uterus is safe, so I like that one. Now we're going to release that and we'll do the opposite. We'll round the back and drop our head. And then come to center. Now here comes the contraction. We're going to Turn the toes and lift the knees off the floor just a little tiny bit. And we're going to go back into downward facing dog, nice and slow, lifting the sit bones up. Come up high onto your toes, contraction still building. Now slowly lower your heels, contraction still building. Now the heels can be on the floor, hold the pose. And if you feel like, oh, I could go deeper into this pose, then you can wriggle your feet back a little bit and then work on pressing the heels back down. Good. Make length, make space. Space between the armpit and the tip of the hips on the outside. Open the rib cage. Feel the skin moving over the body. Feel the muscles moving inside. Long, slow, deep breaths. Start to create a lovely yes inside your heart. So as labour progresses, your contractions will get longer, stronger, and they'll come more often. And we must expect that. And we're happy about that. When that starts happening, that means that cervix is really going to open and we're really, really going to see our baby. It's going to be real. We're going to come up high on our toes now and float down on your knees. And then open your knees out wide, really, really wide, even outside the mat. And see if you can sit back on your heels. We're going to bring our fingertips towards the front of the mat. You can press into your fingertips to get that sit bone and those tailbones all the way back to your heels. And then see what it feels like to relax your hands, relax your elbows, relax, maybe your chest will touch the ground. Make sure there's lots of space there for your baby. Can you hear your breath? Can you feel your breath on the inside? And each time you breathe out, relax. How lovely, how precious, how special it is to be pregnant and waiting to see this baby. Here comes the contraction. So when it shows up, don't be sad about it. Say, great, let me get that contraction behind me. So back to down dog. We'll turn our toes, lift the knees so you can go a little faster into the pose this time. Stretching the heels down. Your cervix now, girls, it's 5 to 6 centimetres. It's 80% thinned out. The membrane's tense and bulging. The baby's at 0 station. So that kind of means that the widest part of your baby's head is at the narrowest part of your pelvis. It's all good. It's all good. Your contractions are coming every 3 minutes. They last a full minute. And everything is going just the way you want. So you feel like, wow, my body's working so hard. Yes, because you're strong and you're healthy and your body's working so hard to give you the most wonderful gift you could ever have. This contraction now, it's starting to fade away. So be willing to let it go. Don't hold on to it now. Start to let it go. Start to let it go. You can come up on your toes and then float down on your knees. Go back to relaxation. So opening the knees, toes together. We'll turn our palms upwards. Relax and release. Relax and release. So we contract and then we relax. The contraction is a lot of work, but the relaxation is just like this. So once you feel that contraction fading away, just let your body drop down into the bed or onto the chair, wherever you're going to labour. Just relax everything in the body and acknowledge to yourself, I'm not contracting, I'm in relaxation. And Mother Nature's really clever. She's going to give you a longer space between the contractions so you spend more time in relaxation than in work. But here comes the contraction. Let's welcome it. Come to me, my wonderful contraction. We'll turn our toes We'll go back to downward facing dog. Now I love this pose for pregnant ladies because it relieves a little bit of pressure out of the pelvis. And that pelvic congestion sometimes that women get, sometimes you get varicose veins, sometimes you might get hemorrhoids, sometimes you feel a little constipated. It just gives a little relief. So we're going to walk the hands back now towards the feet. Good. And when you get to your feet, immediately bend your knees and start to roll back up, slowly one vertebrae at a time. So the two big no-nos are back bends, big back bends, and forward folds. So you want to keep space here. So forward folds, we won't be doing them either. So now we're all standing up and our imaginary labour is moving on. And now we're in the active part of first stage of labour. So we've changed our mats and we're getting more like we're working harder here. Our contractions are really strong, they're very regular. So we do a few standing poses to represent that. So here comes a nice triangle pose and here comes a nice contraction. Hands together in front of the heart, we'll bend our knees and we'll step our feet apart. Good. So we're going to turn that left foot in and our right leg out. So stretch out into the fingers, press down into the feet, contraction building. We're going to exhale over that right leg, all the way out, all the way out. Let your hips float back. Keep a little weight now on that back heel. Keep reaching into that right hand and turn. Right hand to the shin and left hand to the sky. So you've moved now into that lovely Konasana, that triangle pose. And it's a really lovely pose when you're pregnant. You might feel the vertebrae slipping back into place, little clicky noises, I think I heard some. While you're in the pose, let the muscles in the thighs squeeze and hold onto the legs, stabilizing the legs, pressing down into the feet, reaching up into your hand. So your mind is really involved with what you're doing right now. Your mind has to pay attention to what the body is doing. Because the mind is making this happen. You've decided, I'm going to do that pose. I'm going to hold that triangle. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to squeeze the bones. I'm going to be strong. The difference when you're in labour, you won't get that choice. The uterus will do its thing. That amazing energy comes like a wave coming from the ocean. It does the work and then it'll flow back when it's finished. So we have to allow the mind to accept the contraction. So it's a little different to what you're doing right now. So now this contraction's gone. You're going to press into your heel and inhale, come back up. Reach out into your fingers. We'll pretend that 2 or 3 minutes have passed and we'll change our feet. So you'd have 2 or 3 minutes in between there to relax. And then here comes the contraction. We're going to reach over that left leg. Hips are flowing back. Reach out into your fingers. And then turn left hand to the shin and right hand to the sky. So you can use your thumb against the inside of your shin bone. Press with that thumb to pull that left hip forward, bring the left rib cage around. You'll feel as though you're turning the whole upper body around and up to grab that lovely sunbeam that's there just for you today, for you and your baby. Now, if this was a contraction, would it be different? How do you feel? What would be going on? Would your mind be able to say, yes, I understand. I have not got the control that I had in my yoga class. I just have to accept it. And the best way is to keep on repeating something like, yes, I accept, I surrender, I allow my baby to be born. Contraction fading. Press into that right heel and inhale, come back up. Turn your left foot and just step your feet together. So So you were working hard, really, really working hard. Now you're in between contractions. So now you relax deeply. Dropping away all the stress, all the tension, all the worry. Just allow yourself that little bit of peace in between. So in between the contractions, that's when you're going to ask for what you need. Give me a drink of water, turn off the TV, ask those nurses to be quiet. Contractions starting, yes. Bending the knees, we step into that cervix. It's getting thinner, feel it all around there, softer, thinner, stretchier. We're going to turn that left foot in, right foot out. Good. Now feel as though you were reaching back into that back hand, as though somebody was holding the back hand, and start to bend your right knee. So you're moving into Virabhadrasana 2. This is the second of the warriors. Open up the shoulders, stretch through the fingers, and then slowly turn your head and gazing out over that right hand, lining your chin up with your inner elbow. Notice the emotion that shows up with this. You feel strong, you feel driven, you know where you're going. You're gazing out over that hand. See yourself moving in the direction of your dream. Moving towards that beautiful baby. Strong, wise, healthy woman. Yes to this contraction. No matter how strong it is, we must still accept it. Once we fight it, it gets worse. It gets harder to deal with. So the mind must come with us. The mind must say, yes, whatever it is, I'm there. I can do it. Good news is the contraction's coming to an end. So you're going to straighten that right leg and just slowly turn both feet over there to your left. So same thing, imagine somebody's holding that back hand and you're going to exhale, bend the left knee. Great. So you're going to sit down and into that left hip. Feel as though you were getting a 90-degree angle with that front knee. Nice 90-degree angle, just like Annie's there. That's lovely. Stretching through the hands. Keep that back hand the same height as the front hand. And as you're gazing out over that hand, notice if the face has started to get hard, because maybe the mind is saying, it's hard. So the face tries to show the world what I'm doing. It's hard. So we train the mind. It's hard, but I'm strong. So we create that face, that strong face that we're going to show the baby. When the baby's born, the baby's going to look to see, well, which one of you are my mom? And when the baby sees you, the baby will be like, that's you. There she is. That beautiful, strong, wise woman. Yes, I got lucky. The baby's going to be so happy. Contraction is gone. Straightening that knee, turning the feet, and just stepping the feet together. And notice and acknowledge, I'm not contracting, I'm relaxing. And then gather up that little bit of energy. So here comes the next contraction, and try to welcome it, even though you feel like you're working hard, your energy is getting low. You gather the energy in through the breath. Bending the knees, fingers touching, step into that cervix, girls. It's really thin now. Look, feel all the way around. It's 7 to 8 centimeters. Baby's now coming down through that narrowest part of your pelvis, and your membranes have just popped. And there's lots of clear fluid, everything's going great. The contractions are still every 3 minutes. We're turning our feet to the right, both feet, both femurs up in the hips. We're going to exhale, bend that right knee, bend the right knee. Good. So go back to where you were with Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to reach forward now, place your elbow on your knee and reach back into that back hand. Good. Reach way back into that backhand and look down over the fingertips and then turn that palm upwards. Great. And take that arm over the side of your head. See if you can take the arm by the ear and look up past the arm. Look up at one thing, up on the ceiling. God, so follow my fingers this way, up this way, all the way up, and gazing up there at one little spot. Remember your focal point. Good. Now work the pose. You're opening the ribs, stretching the skin over that hip. There's a lovely true line of energy through the body, out through the hand, back into the side of the foot. The body is working. The mind is working with you. The heart's wide open. The breath is flowing in. So when we're working hard like this, we're spilling all these wonderful endorphins into our bloodstream. And these endorphins right now are putting a wee smile on your baby's face. But they could also help you in labour. They act like painkillers. Isn't that great news? Another wee gift from Mother Nature. This contraction is done. Inhale, come back up. So we're just going to turn the feet and we're going to do that very same pose on the other side. So bring whatever you learnt on that side to this side. And then exhale, bending the left knee. Good. Flowing down, sitting into that hip, 90-degree angle in the front knee. Strong, straight back leg. And then reach forward, place your elbow on your knee and turn your head, look back at that back hand as though you were inviting some energy from the past. Maybe your great-great-grandmothers, they had a lot of wisdom. Invite them, turn the palm up, invite them to join you in your future efforts, in your labour, reaching forward into the future. Great. And just maybe drop your head back, look up at the palm of the hand this time. So you're looking up at the palm of your hand and imagine that a little TV screen has come on there and you can see yourself having a contraction. It's strong. You can feel the baby pressing down towards your pelvic floor. You're engulfed with this amazing energy and there you are with that strong, confident, wise face. Yes to the contraction. Yes to your own nature. Yes, as the contraction fades away, inhale, coming back up, straightening your knee, turning your feet, and just stepping back into the space between your contractions. Now, as you stand there, we'll stand in Tadasana. So pull the knees up, drop the lower back, lift the pit of the abdomen. So babies, of course, want to take over our body and they want to take our body this way. So we have to mind our lower back by bringing our belly back in, dropping the lower back, lifting the pit of the belly. It's like a cowboy shooting from the hip, doing a little Shakira. Lift the heart, lift the armpit chest, leaving that chin just level with the earth. Great. So it's instead of thinking I'm waiting for the next contraction, no, you're experiencing the relaxation, the peace in between. Contraction, starting, yes, bending the knees, fingers touching. We're going to step the feet apart and we're going to turn our palms up this time. We're going to scoop the sky up over our head. And then turn your feet to the right. Now, this is going to be Virabhadrasana 1 pose. Usually, if you're not pregnant, your feet are quite narrow, but when you're pregnant, step this back foot out to the edge. So you give your hips all the room they need. And we're turning the back foot dramatically. So now that right hip is coming back, that left hip is going forward. Now remember what we just talked about? Dropping the lower back, lifting the pit of the belly. See if you can do that. Reach up into your fingertips as you drop your head back on the inhale and bend the front knee on the exhale. Warrior nature. Bring forth your warrior nature as you move towards that contraction. Tell Mother Nature, bring it, bring that contraction. You are stronger than your contractions. You are stronger than your thoughts. Great, long, slow, deep breaths. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I smile. Great, so remember each contraction's got a beginning, a middle, and a beautiful end. So let's straighten that right knee as you come back up, press down into your feet, keep the arms up to build the upper body strength for all the hugging you're going to be doing. We'll turn our feet, and then once you've turned, you're going to take this right foot over there to the right side. You're going to open the feet wider, drop the head back, look up past the thumbs, and switch the cross of your thumbs. And on the exhale, bend the knee. Keep control of the hips. Remember, we don't want to go into any big back bends. Trust your body, trust you're in your legs, trust you're in your arms, trust you're in your eyes. And as you look up, imagine, hey, look at, you're looking up into the cervix. It's almost open all the way. It's 8 to 9 centimeters. That hair, you can see the baby's hair. Is it curly? Is it red? It's closer now, very close. So as you're moving through this journey, remember your baby is on this journey. Baby's coming too. Maybe baby's feeling a little scared. Say, it's okay, my baby. I'm here for you. I'm waiting. Come on down to me. Yes to each contraction, and yes to the end of this contraction. As you straighten your knee, come back up, turn, and just step the feet together. And just notice all of that hard work and now all of this relaxation. Soften the breath, smooth out the breath. Good. So remember that lovely sound. That's the sound your baby's listening to. Good. So we're coming towards now the end of that labour. The cervix is melting away now, lots of pressure, and we're getting full of adrenaline. Oh, there's a lot of excitement, but we're still able to stay calm and breathe. Contraction starting now. Remember, we start each contraction with a big, deep cleansing breath. Good. So we're going to go back to that same pose, Virabhadrasana, Warrior One, turning the palms up, scooping the sky, pressing down into the feet. We turn our feet to the right. Now, tricky bit coming, because as we move into transition and we're full of all that adrenaline, we're inclined to get a little bit emotional and we feel like we're on a roller coaster. So we do a few balanced poses at the end to produce that feeling of excitement. So we're going to go from Virabhadrasana 1 to 3. So step the feet a little wider. Some of you girls need to. And then inhale, looking up. Exhale, bend the knee. Take a couple of breaths here. Bring everything into alignment. Feel yourself in your body, in your breath. Contraction, very, very strong, building. Lift the back heel, bring that left hip around a little bit, and you're going to come down over the bent leg and reach forward, step the back foot closer. Now launch yourself as you reach forward, lift the back leg. Listen for the breath. Yes, I can do this. Yes, this contraction, I can do this contraction, because Mother Nature asks of me to have only one contraction at a time. Yes to this one. It's melting my cervix. It's bringing my baby closer. Now it's fading. So come out nice and careful. We're going to bend the standing leg. Drop that left leg back into Virabhadrasana 1. Look up and smile at your baby. And then straighten that right knee. Press into your feet and be prepared to keep working. Turn the feet. Turning to the other side. So as we move into this last little bit, your contractions might get a bit longer. And the space between them then gets a little bit shorter. So we grab that little relaxation when we find it, and then we move on. Contraction starting, yes. Dropping your head back, look up past your thumbs, bending that front knee. Drop the lower back, lift the pit of the belly. Now lift the back heel, very strong contraction coming. Good. Now if you need to, you could step that back foot closer, come down over the bent leg, reach into your fingertips, lift the back leg, strengthen the standing leg. Think of the word yes, those lovely letters, Y-E-S, yes to this contraction. Come flowing into my body like that beautiful energy from the ocean. Wash through me and bring me my baby. Contraction's almost gone. We're going to bend the standing leg and drop the right leg back down and look up. Woo, baby, you're so close now. Let's straighten that left knee, turn and just step your feet back. God, we're back in peace. Back in peace. So the wave, it will take you and it'll wash you around and it'll turn you upside down, but I promise you, it'll push you back up onto the shore in the end. Standing in your peace, feel the breath, smooth it out. Contraction starting now. Bending the knees, fingers touching. We're going to step our feet apart. We're 9 centimeters. Woo. Let's turn our feet to the right. Now this time we're going to go from triangle pose into balanced half moon. Love the moon. Great, so we're going to keep that right knee straight. Right knee straight, back foot turned in. On the exhale, we reach towards the energy. Instead of running away from our contraction, we're reaching for it. Yes, to that contraction. Left hand down, right hand down, left hand up. So take a breath or two there. And then bend that right knee. Now, if you need a block, you're going to bring the block with you. Reach your right hand out. Now look and see where you're going. You're going to place that right hand, maybe a whole 18 inches in front of your right foot, and step the back foot closer. Now place the right hand, lift the back foot. You're going to line your thumb up with the little toe side. Now, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, I think that looks really hard. It is kind of hard, especially when you're so pregnant as these beautiful women. But labour, some of these contractions, they're a huge challenge, but they're perfect for you. They're the perfect challenge for you and your baby. So you must say, I accept the challenge of that contraction. I say, yes, I can do this. So let the eyes settle on one spot. Soften the lips, the jaw, the tongue, and trust that you won't be left like that forever. It's just for another 2 breaths. Hold on, hold on. Contractions fading. You're going to bend the standing leg and slowly and in control stretch that left foot to the back of the mat. Now straighten your right knee and take a breath in triangle. Always come back out the same way you went in. Pressing into that back heel. We'll inhale, come back up. Turn your feet, step into the space between the contractions. So take a little break there. Now, if you're sweating, then you're doing it right. Often when we look at a woman and she's in labour, she might be just sitting there in the chair, but her body's working so hard. She starts to sweat. Sometimes we have to remind her to slow the breath down, to stay calm. Contractions starting now. Bending the knees, fingers touching, we step the feet apart. We'll turn our feet to the left now. So go from triangle into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Exhale over that left side, reach way out. Placing the left hand, reaching up into the right hand. Good. Contraction building. Getting stronger. Bend that left knee. Reach the left hand out. Step the back foot a little bit closer. And then place your hand, lining thumb up with the little toe. Lift the back leg. Now hold your pose. Roll open that top hip. We're shooting energy back into the back heel, up into the top hand, down into the bottom hand. Strong standing leg. Fix the eyes now. Focus the eyes just on one spot. Think about the beautiful moon, the moon energy, how soft, how feminine, how mysterious, just like we are, girls, just like we are. The moon belongs to us. Contraction fading. We're going to softly now and slowly bend the standing leg, stretch that right foot back, the exact spot it was in, straighten the left leg, take a big inhale, pressing into that right heel, come back up and step back into the space between the contractions. Feel yourself in that space between your breaths. Can you slip into the space between your heartbeats? The space between your thoughts? Good. Contraction starting now. Good. We're nearly there, I promise you. We're going to stand now with the feet wide open and turn the toes a wee bit towards each other. And maybe take the hands to the hips first. Pull the knees up, drop the lower back, lift the pit of the belly, and then slide your hands down. See if you can clasp your hands behind your buttocks. Inhale, look up. Now think about all the things that you're worried about. Let it all bubble up like in little tiny bubbles. And on the exhale, start to come forward, lifting your hands up behind your back. Feel all those worries, spilling them out onto the mat. Good. Lift the hands up. Let all of that stuff dribble out right there. And then release your hands and place your hands down in all those worries and brush them off the mat. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Let yourself be free. And then place your hands down. Good. Now some of you might need a block here. We're going to inhale, look up. Concave the upper back. Lift the sternum. Straighten the elbows. Good. Contraction building. We're going to now round the back and see where you get to. Placing the head on a block or on the floor. Or just lengthen the back. Start to work on lengthening the back. Good job. So feel that lovely stretch across the lower back. Stretch across the pelvic floor. Stretching into the legs. So there are two things we must do with our pelvic floor to be ready to have our baby. We strengthen and we stretch. Yes. Long, strong contractions now at the end. The body, the uterus is so determined to give you the gift of your baby. Breathe into the uterus. Come on, baby. Contraction now. This is the second wave of the contraction. Place the hands. Inhale, come back up. Walk the hands out now so that the hands are just underneath the shoulders. Pause. Lift the heart, press back into your femurs. Now, as though somebody was holding your hips, you're going to walk your hands forward. Feel as though you were walking towards your baby, towards the baby. Reach way out. Line now your ears up with your inner arms. Press back into the legs. Lengthen, stretch the skin over the whole body and smile. Smile with your whole physical body. Contraction fading. Contraction gone. So go ahead now and walk your hands in just to where your shoulders are, and from there heel toe, come back together. Halfway through, just take your hands to your hips and come back up and step the feet together. We have a tiny little rim of cervix left. Just a tiniest little rim. And each contraction now we have this strong urge to push. And the nurse is saying, I feel a little bit of cervix, don't push just yet, just breathe. Just blow off that urge to push. Now we're going to step off the front of the mat. So with courage we step towards that little rim of cervix. Bring that right foot up, place it on the inside of that left thigh, hands together in front of the heart. Long, slow, deep breaths. Let the contraction take you. Start to grow. Feel that amazing energy growing as you reach upwards And as you reach up, also reach back down. As you reach down, think about all of the women that you come from, your great-great-great-grandparents. Think about a strong, wise woman back there in the past having her baby. Ask her for her knowledge, for her courage. And then as you reach up into your leaves, the tips of your leaves, think about your children's children. Feel as though you were taking the knowledge and the energy and passing it on. And then feel that you're right here, right now, in this family tree and the important part that you hold. You're strong. We need you. Your family needs you. Contraction, fading. Slowly take the hands back together in front of the heart. Releasing the hands, releasing the leg. And the good news is we're completely dilated. We have no cervix anymore. It's time now to push. So once the cervix is gone, this very strong urge to push comes. And mostly the women are going to say, I feel like pooping. And that's the cue for the midwife, the nurse to check and see, yes, there's the baby. So we're going to change now. We're going to get down onto the floor and we're going to just do a last little bit of work on the pelvic floor. All this hard work is done, girls. So we'll all get 2 bolsters and a white belt. Okay, so now we're at the point where in our imaginary labour, the cervix is all gone. And now we have to get to the point where we push our baby out. And that can last an hour, it can be 2 hours, sometimes with the first baby. So that's not unusual. So add that into your plan of labour. So the girls here, they're laying down, they're going to lay back on these bolster pillows and they're going to tie their legs together in that Baddha Konasana pose. So we're all going to take our belt and put it around the lower back, down around that sacroiliac joint area, and hold the buckle in one hand and bring the buckle under your feet, soles of the feet together. So then you're going to buckle it and hopefully you'll end up with that little tail part in a way that you'll be able to tighten it easily and release yourself out of it if you need to. So you're going to bring the feet in close and tighten the belt, and then bring the feet in and tighten the belt, and make sure that the belt is down low on the back. Great, and then when it feels really tight, you're set to go. So now you're going to lay back on the bolster pillow, and I'll have a look and see if I think you need more height with your head, I'll put a blanket under your head. Annie, would you like some blankets outside your legs? No. You feel good? I know you're pretty flexible. Great. So you don't want your forehead to be higher than you actually want your forehead to be a little bit higher than your chin. So as you lay there now, you're going to just relax for a few moments. Just drop the body. Feel as though your body was like a rope and you're just dropping that rope onto the floor. And there's a knot in the rope. And that knot is the uterus lifted up nice and strong. But everything behind that falling back, nice and relaxed. Let yourself relax your neck, your shoulders. Feel that right arm and relax into the right fingertips. Feel the left arm and relax into that too. Feel as though the hands were in an open, accepting, receptive, magnetic, feminine way. Saying yes to the experience now of second stage of labour. Pushing the baby out. Pushing the baby out and into your hands. Yes. Relax your back. Feel all the bones on your back, how heavy they are. Let them ground you. Let them relax you onto the pillow. Allow your rib cage to relax. Your hips. And behind the belt, start to relax in there behind the belt as though you were breathing in that area. Each breath bringing you into a deeper, relaxed state. dropping the knees. And maybe just squeezing the feet together once and then dropping the feet. And allow that to ripple up and out of the body. Taking with it any tension, any stress, any worries. And remember, everything is going to be all right. You're going to get through this. You're going to be fine. Feel how heavy the head is, and let the head be even heavier than that. Feel your face relaxing. Smooth out the muscles of the forehead. Release and relax that little space between the eyebrows. Feel your lips relaxing, your tongue, your eyes. Drop the eyes. And then just listen to your breath for a moment. That lovely sound, like an S sound as you inhale and a H sound as you exhale. So the breath starts to sound like sa, ha. Contraction starting now. Contract just the muscles of the rectum. Squeeze the rectum as though you were trying to hold on to a poop, but there's somebody in the bathroom. You've got to hold on. Squeeze the rectum and pull it back in. So this is actually the opposite to pushing. So we're holding on. If you were actually pushing, you'd be doing the opposite, but I don't want you to do that. So notice the control you have over the different parts of the pelvic floor. So if you lose it at any stage, you feel like it's not working for you, go back down, find that little muscle, squeeze it, hold it in, but relax everything else. Relax the heart, the stomach, the liver, everything inside. Just that one tiny little part of you working. And then notice as the contraction fades away, allow it to fade away, but very slowly, just like your contraction. Remember, it won't just disappear in a second. It'll disappear over a matter of seconds. So you feel it, let it go so slow that you can't really tell when the muscles of the rectum return and melt into the rest of the pelvic floor. Then the contraction is completely gone. Drop the body again. And scan the body. See if anything got tense. Maybe your thumbs. Maybe the tongue got stuck to the roof of the mouth again. Relax that tongue. Good. Now the contraction comes again. And when we're in this part of our labour and the baby's pushing down, we get a very, very strong urge to push. Very strong. Here it comes. Big, strong contraction. Don't try to stop it. Accept it. Let it flow into you. And this time contract the muscles in the vagina. Squeeze the walls of the vagina together and lift that area back up into the pelvic floor a little bit. But relax the rectum. Continue with the lovely natural breath. Feeling the rise on the inhale and the fall on the exhale. Good. And keep checking down. Have you found those muscles? Can you isolate those muscles? Notice your control. So we become conscious in the pelvic floor. We can think with our pelvic floor as that baby is coming through. And the vagina is the gateway. We want to be able to hold on when it's time to not push and release when it is time. Now this contraction is fading. So come above the vagina and feel the softening moving down, down, releasing, relaxing, melting and blending. And then feel the pelvic floor returning like a lovely, soft, relaxed hammock now. The baby's just there on the other side of the hammock. And everything is fine. In between these contractions, just the same, you'll have that little break where there's no contraction. Acknowledge it. Say, I'm fine. I've got this. Just a little bit more. Nearly at the top of the mountain. Just keep going. Just a few more contractions and the most beautiful view is waiting for you. Your baby's eyes. Contraction starting now. This time come a little bit above the vagina. See if you can find the clitoris and the pubic muscles. I'm just going to pull that area towards the vagina. It's a tiny little movement. You might have to go back a few times and see if you've got it. When you find it, hold on, pull it down a little bit, squeeze it a little bit, and relax into your hands. Relax into your ears. Let yourself hear your lovely breath. Let your baby hear your lovely breath. Soon your baby will be breathing on their own. Make these last breaths your best breaths, your best gift of life for your wonderful child. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I am a flower. Contraction fading. Slowly now, as though you weren't even doing it, just feel that little area returning back, relaxing and releasing, and the whole pelvic floor completely relaxed. And drop the body again. So with this next contraction, it'll be in our labor, pretend labor. It'll be our last contraction. And this next contraction is going to bring the baby out and into the world. Contraction starting, yes. Contract the pelvic floor, everything now. Include all of those 3 areas. Everything we just talked about, and include the buttocks. Squeeze it all up together. But relax your face into that first face the baby wants to see. Relax, a lovely smile coming to the lips, a confidence, a strength, a knowledge, a deep wisdom coming from your heart to your face. I'm waiting for you, baby. I'm here for you, baby. I'm your mom. I love you, baby. And as the contraction now starts to fade away, I want you to imagine your baby moving down slowly and carefully and just moving out into the world. So start to relax from above the pelvic floor and just feel no holding on now, just releasing, just relaxing the baby into the world. Relaxing your baby into their own life. Contraction gone. So now you're at the end of your labor, girls. Baby has been born. We're going to reach now and open your belt and try not to move your back around too much. You're just going to straighten your legs one at a time and then just drop your feet apart. Relax your hands now. So now you come to the part of your class where we call Shavasana. You don't have to do anything at all. All the work is done. And you'll come to a part of your labor that'll be just like this too. The baby will be born. You can totally relax and release. So as you're laying there, just imagine that they've placed your perfect, beautiful, sweet human being that you've created right up there on your chest. And the baby can feel your skin, and you can feel the baby's skin. And you're looking at each other. You're smiling. You're happy. Your day's work is done. There's nothing to add to. There's nothing to subtract from. It's perfect, just the way it is. So now slowly Gently start to move your fingers and your toes. And bending your knees, roll over onto your right side. And then come back up into a comfortable cross-legged sitting place. And just turn a little bit that way maybe. And sit tall, sit light, sit bright. Acknowledge yourself, the work you've done. And taking your hands there to your heart. So just think about all of the women all over the world having their babies right now. Just as we take this breath, they're pushing their babies out into the world. Let's offer our ohms up for them. So let's finish with 3 nice ohms. Inhale. Go with the pain. Let it take you. Open your palms and your body to the pain. It comes in waves like a tide, and you must be open as a vessel lying on the beach, letting it fill you up and then retreating, leaving you empty and clear. With a deep breath, it has to be as deep as the pain. One reaches a kind of inner freedom from pain, as though the pain were not yours, but your body's. The spirit lays the body on the altar. Anne Morrow Lindbergh. Namaste. Thank you for joining us. Please practice your prenatal yoga. It'll make your labor easier. Thank you.